Hello, my name is Miguel Taveras, and I'm a program manager at NCTSTA. I'm here with.
Jeff Blanchard, and I'm also a longtime member of the National Center for Training, Support, and Technical Assistance.
Well, the reason we're filming this video is because over the last few months we've been around the country doing our presentation on alignment, and we get lots of questions. Unfortunately, not everybody can come to our presentations, and what we did was try to put together the 5 most frequently asked questions, and the answers to those questions is what you will see in the following segment. So the number one question that we get is, what is organizational alignment?
And Miguel, that's a great question, and it definitely comes up often. And so organizational alignment is a concept, and it's a concept of strategically lining up your organizational culture, functions, people, and processes towards driving better organizational performance and results. So it's an idea of having all of your organizational components moving in the same direction for the same reasons, and having all of the pieces of your organization in sync and aiming towards a common goal. So from a very basic standpoint, it's linking everyone's work to the broader organizational business strategy in a more purposeful and definitive way.
Yes, a follow-up question that we get is, why is alignment important, and how would it benefit my organization?
Right, so alignment is important for organizations just in terms of bringing about a solid strategy for the organization to move forward and to improve. The benefit is that alignment creates a path that everyone can follow very clearly in terms of what the organizational ultimate goals and objectives are. And that is really to be able to achieve greater organizational performance and be able to leverage those results in organizational sustainability moving forward. So that is really where the benefit comes in terms of undertaking an organizational alignment process.
And it's actually great that you highlighted path, because that's the follow-up question would be, is there a particular process that facilitates organizational alignment?
Yeah, I think that the traditional strategic planning process probably, more than adequately facilitates an organizational alignment process. Basically, in strategic planning, what you start off with is a decision to plan.
Yes.
And that comes certainly in some intervals during your organizational year, your program cycle. The idea about planning, usually comes up. So it's the decision to plan, and in this particular case, it's the decision to plan around organizational alignment. And so someone in the organization would need to step up with that idea first and foremost, and share that idea among their colleagues, which in this case would be the leadership team. And just it would act as a preliminary assessment process where folks come together and just vet the idea and just talk about whether or not organizational alignment is a good idea for our organization. Because one thing certainly about alignment is that it has certain implications for organizations. So you want to have a well thought out process in terms of at least initially discussing and vetting the idea of alignment.
Yes, and then they might say, this all sounds great, and I know that it would benefit my organization, but are there any costs associated with the process?
Well, that's a good question, and I'm sure a lot of organizations are interested in the cost factor. I think it's one of those things that definitely budget-wise would be probably a little concern, or at least pique some interest. But the cost of organizational alignment as a process would really be zero to no financial factor for an organization, unless an agency, for example, decided to bring in an external consultant to help to plan and facilitate an organizational alignment process. Then certainly the cost would be a factor in that particular case. But I also want to just remind people that capacity building, which is sponsored by the CDC from the capacity building branch, is always available to organizations, and they can access that by various means. But so in that case, certainly again, there would be no cost to the organization from a financial standpoint. However, I do want to point out that the cost actually would be the cost in time and commitment.
True.
It does take time and commitment. Organizational alignment is more of a project as opposed to day-to-day operations. And in order to achieve a project and get the results of a project, you have to be able to allocate and commit to setting aside the necessary time to undertake something like an organizational alignment initiative.
Correct. Then the next question would be, what is the first step in the alignment process? How did I get started?
Right, and that's a good question. In terms of organizations, not only want to know what we need to do, but how should we do it? How do we go about it? And so, just as I alluded to a little earlier, this type of process really just takes someone from the organization to step up with the idea of organization. First of all, to even recognize that organizational alignment might be an option for the organization, and bring that idea to the forefront so that it could be discussed, among the leadership as well as other stakeholders. Other people can certainly be involved in those initial discussions, and just vet the idea and see whether or not, this is something that certainly would benefit our organization. So I think that's really step one in the process.
Sure.
And then following that, I think basically after you make the decision and you cross that bridge, then it's incumbent upon the organization to bring the whole agency together, and so that people can be informed and also have an opportunity to comment on the proposal. So I think that's really important from an inclusionary standpoint, that people will be involved and understand the decision-making process of the organization.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much. I know these answers to these 5 key questions will be extremely useful for a lot of organizations that don't have the opportunity to meet with us in person after a presentation or event. But we wanted to put together this little video to actually answer those 5 frequently asked questions with regards to alignment, which is in the minds of lots of people in this field, and that's the need to align with NHAS. And this is actually a great way to get started. I would say this answers not only question 1 through 5, but it tells you how to really get on the path to organizational alignment. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel.
Thanks.